Happy Thursday. How is it going? How are you guys doing? It's been a while since I did a live stream on this channel. But yeah, I want to talk about some money making tips as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a solopreneur. Really, the ultimate goal when working for yourself is to work less and make more. And that's what this whole stream is going to be about today. And we're going to be talking about what that actually means, how to implement it. We're going to deep dive a little bit further into the video that I posted last week or earlier this week on the same topic and really expand on it because a lot of people had questions. So I want to follow up and talk about those. But let's say hello. Mac, congratulations on your stream this past week. Your first live stream. I love the 3 camera angles. That was really unique. I like being able to see you, and both hands doing what they were doing on the guitar. So well done on that. It looked fantastic and it sounded great. Yeah, so I'm gonna take that off. Bailey, hello. Happy Thursday. Jashim, how's it going? Happy Thursday to you as well. Happy snowing Thursday. It is. Someone has to go outside and grab the kids. But yeah, Bailey, feeling better. Oh no. Hope you're okay. Hope everything is okay. But I'm going to make you feel better because we're going to talk about how to make more money by actually working less. And it was a concept that kind of came through a lot of discussions early on. And I remember back when I first got out of university and I wanted, and I got my first job working for a company as a motion graphics designer, doing a whole bunch of animations. And I had my day rate and I was working for them. They provided the whole, they provided the workstation, the office, all that kind of stuff. But I remember the more I got into that job and the closer I became with the owners, the more discussions we actually had about pricing and financing and how much they charge for my time to the clients. And I was actually shocked by how much they were charging for one day of my time, as opposed to me, how much I charge to actually do the work. And there was this whole trickle down effect from the agency the client contacting the agency contacting the production house hiring the people that actually did it, and how that money trickled down. So the person that actually ended up physically doing the thing got like the lowest bar, the lowest slice of that pie when it came down to it. And I was at the time, so this was 2003 or so. I remember I was charging them about $300 a day. That's what roughly worked out to, maybe around there. And they were charging about $1,200 to $1,500 to bill out my time. And initially I asked, like, why is the price so high? Why are you charging that? It didn't make any sense, especially for someone straight out of university not having any business sense. And they said it was simple because they didn't they didn't know exactly how many days I would be working on it. They knew that roughly it should take this amount of time, and they kind of estimated how much time that would take, plus their time to manage me, plus their time to manage the client, plus their a little bit of profit built into it. And so that difference between what I was making and what they were charging for my day is all that back and forth they had to do. And I kind of took that as a definite business lesson, because not only were they able to bill up my time, like what if they needed to hire another designer to help out on the project because they may have underbid. So if they were just billing my time, there would be no room for overhead, there would be no profit, there would be no cost for expenses, there would be no ability to run their business, because they weren't technically doing the animations, but they were running this business. So it was an eye-opening experience, especially early on, how much my time was worth beyond my own sphere of understanding. And so when I went out and I started my own production company and I started working for myself, I made that first step right from the beginning to be charging as a business would be charging, not as a individual would be charging. And there's a big difference, because what my rate is as an individual is much lower than what my rate is as a business owner. And I do use my rate very specifically for different purposes. Like if another company came to me, like another freelancer or another production house came to me and they're like, hey, we have this client in your area. We would like you to go out and shoot this project for us, for this client. So it's not my client that I'm working for. I'm working for this other production company. So I would still charge what my rate is, my day rate, to that production company, and then they can upbill that as a contractor work. But if it was my client, I would be charging them the business rate, not the the contractor rate. And so you have to understand where those two avenues really come into play. But today we're talking about how to make more and work less. And that falls in line with the same aspect that we're talking about today. You need to find the work. So first you need to get in a flow of working with clients and doing the work that you're doing. So if you don't have that flow already, it's hard to just start charging more. But there will be a point where you do find contract work that comes in and you start building your portfolio and people start contacting you and you start doing that kind of work. And once you're in that position, it's a small leap to start charging a little bit more or a lot more for every new client that comes down the road. Because it gives you the opportunity, because when you're busy, that is the moment that you need to be taking those big leaps forward to try to make more money, to try to find those value-based clients, the clients that actually find more value in time than in how much something would cost. And the bigger up, the higher up the food chain I went to bigger clients, the quicker I realized that a price is usually a qualifier for me to be hired by them, because they don't want to waste their time with someone that doesn't understand how much something should cost or how long something should be. That is a qualifier to understand how long something, how to work on that project. And they have that confidence that's built into it. It really comes down to, and it's a really quick qualifier, where I would say typically a project like that would cost between this price and that price. And if they don't pause even on the price and they're like, okay, yeah, we understand, then I would quote based on that price. But every time a client went like, oh, that's so much higher than we were expecting, that's a qualifier for me to know that this is not a client that I want to spend time on to try to develop a relationship moving forward. Now, there are special cases, there are circumstances where you can charge and bill much lower. Definitely for local shops and businesses that are that you want to support, that you actually like using, nonprofits. These are places where you can actually put more time in and not expect that full rate. So it really does come down to you charging more and accepting less work or getting less yeses. And you'll actually weed out all those clients that are just looking for the very best rate and the lowest price. Because there is no bringing them up later. They're always going to look for the best price, and they're always going to try to undercut what they want to spend on it. And I've mentioned this many, many times. There have been instances where projects have come onto, there have been many instances where projects have come into my site where I would say to the client, that's about $5,000 for that small animation that you want. And they would turn back to me and they, well, we only have $500 to that project. I'm like, well, we can probably find, I'll try to help find someone that's more within your budget, but that's not something that I can do. And then a year later, that same client would come back to me and say, okay, we have $5,000. What can we do this year? And sometimes the project is within scope, but if I've been doing steadily my increase to not only meet but exceed inflation every year, I would say, well, now we're going to have to spend $7,500 to get that animation. And 99% of the time, at that point, the client says, okay, fine, we can do, say $6,500. And at that point, I'll be like, yes, okay, fine, let's do it. And we find that middle ground and we're able to work. But in their mind, I turned the $500 project, or that $500, I turned myself from a $500 mindset in their mind to a $5,000 or more mindset in their mind. Does that make sense? That makes sense. So in their mind, I was actually worth more valuable to them because I quoted them a much higher price, 10 times more than they were willing to spend the year before. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of clients that would be like, we only have $500. I'm like, what you're asking for is like $50,000. I don't see how this is compatible. And those clients just kind of go away. Like they're literally asking for the moon. Or the clients that say, my nephew something in high school can do that. Like, great, hire them. Or I've had this many times where they're like, there's someone else, there's one of your competitors that's willing to do it for like 1/3 the price. I'm like, fantastic. Send me their contact info because I'll hire them to work on my projects if they're giving you that rate. If they're really good, fantastic. But the thing is, anyone that is actually good and is doing this full time is not going to be able to charge 1/3 the rate, the going rate. If that makes sense. That makes sense? That makes sense. I say that because I'm always in my head. Let's see what you guys are doing. So Bailey's feeling better. That's good. Livestream Pro. No, if you want to see a Livestream Pro, go check out Avars. He's stepping it back now, but he was doing co-working live streams. He was doing just balling on with the whole live stream aspect of it. He was 5 hours at a time and just going at it. So kudos to Avars for being able to live stream as much as he was, because it really took off, and his channel just passed 17,000 subscribers. So yay, Avars, congratulations on that. So Bailey is saying, currently going through the works of setting up my hourly rate for photo shoots. I'm starting with photography, then hope to evolve into videography as I go. Yeah, that's skill stacking. So build it into one thing that you know you can have control, and you push yourself a little bit more, and then keep evolving it. Absolutely. Skill stack, build onto it. Because I started in the same place. I initially started photography. In high school, I studied it for 5 years, and I wanted to go into university for cinematography because I wanted to add the moving images aspect of it, which kind of like, I love the whole composition, the lighting, and then moving the camera to tell better stories. But yeah, always be skill stacking. So it's not necessarily being a jack of all trades. It's about being a master of a discipline, which can entail many aspects of one discipline. So photography, anything with a camera and a lens is, I would consider the modality of filmmaking or storytelling. Visual communication is where I would kind of block in all that. So yeah, skill stack, keep going, and with every project, charge a little bit more, and then there'll be and the reason I'm saying this, there is a huge reason, because I've seen so many people that are able to do the things that I'm able to do, and they started a little bit later, or right out of school, and like within 3 years they have a full-on business and they're making really good money, is because they understood that they have to charge probably 3 times more than they feel they should. And that allows them to, instead of working on 20 projects a year, they only work on 10, but they still make the same amount of money, if not more. And the best part that comes out of working with clients that really value their time is that they end up becoming repeat clients. If you're as good as you think you are, and you're probably better than you assume you are, then those clients will have that confidence built in you. If you talk about money confidently, if you talk about what they're actually asking for confidently, then those clients can turn into those long-term clients. I always say that the goal is to have about 5 really good clients that pay for about 80% of your yearly income. If you can get there, and those can grow and they can swap out and switch as you grow. But if they're able to cover 80% of how much money you're making, and then you have like 5 others that are like those extra projects on the side that you do, the local community stuff, the businesses that you want to support, the nonprofits, anything that you want to do at that point. Like, it's your time, and you get that time back by working with value-based clients that understand that you working with them is saving them time and is worth the money, especially in the long run. Dylan, I know I saw your previous comment, but yeah, nice to see you. Great points. It seems to be that clients that are trying to nitpick the price are usually the problem clients anyways. Yes, yeah. And you find that out very quickly, that if they're already fighting you on price, if a client is already fighting you on price, chances are they're going to start fighting with you on the creative. And if they're fighting you on the creative and how do I put this? If you find that a client is doing that, they're fighting you on price, and then they'll spill into the creative, it's a sign that they don't feel confident with you. They want to control as much as possible. And you have to have a client needs to be confident with you if you're going to make that kind of money. So don't try to please a client right from the beginning before you even started anything. There's huge signs that are usually red flags. If a client balks at paying you a deposit, if they say that the money hasn't been cleared yet, if they're pushing back on all these things that should be regular practice in this industry at today's point, those are the clients that you should be like, I'm gonna have to walk away and just back away from those kind of clients. And it sounds counterintuitive, especially early on. Walking away from a client could be one of the worst things that you do, but it's actually, as long as it's in your control, in your court, that you choose to walk away from a client, then it's always a good decision. Don't be afraid to lose a couple of $1,000s, because I know from personal experience, I always felt like, oh, I'll never work again because I lost that client and no one's going to want to hire me. I've been doing this for 20 years. And there's always clients. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of opportunities. You have to get better every single year. You have to keep improving on your skills. And it's another reason why I started doing live streams and doing the YouTube videos, because I wanted to get better in communicating how to be on camera. I'm very comfortable being behind the camera and communicating to actors, but trying to communicate to people that have never been on camera, to be comfortable on camera, that's one of the biggest things I wanted to learn by doing what I'm doing. Because doing that first video, it became nerve-wracking. Doing that first live stream, but like, I'm at a point where it's like, I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying having these kind of conversations. So when a client says a competitor is doing it for this and that, yes, I remind them of the value. I remind them of my value, because they're still talking with me because they clearly like what I'm doing. Yes. Okay. This is something I'm going to cover a lot more coming down the line, where I'm going to talk about demo reels. I'm going to talk about how to attract clients, where to find clients. But if a client has reached out to you and they said, hey, we saw your demo reel, looks fantastic. We have a project, let's talk. If you're at that point already, that means that you don't have to sell the client on your skill set. They already know your skill set, because that's why they're talking to you, because they've seen your work. That first phone call is to see if you'll work well together, if your personalities match, if they like you just talking about their project, if you seem to understand what they're asking for. So you've already been qualified that your skill set is good if they're talking to you. Even if you send your reel out to someone and they contact you, there's something in that reel that captivated them, that they want to work with you. From there on out, you're just selling you, your ability to be able to function and complete the project that they want. but in a working relationship, not your skill set. And though your skill set is demonstrated by the demo reel, and then your personality and your work likability is the next phase. And that's the part that I've seen a lot of people fall behind on, because they start talking about the process of like what tools they'll use and how they're planning to, compose stuff, and like what lighting, what camera gear. The client at that point, they don't, that first interview, that first talk is more about like, do I want to work with you personally? I like your work, but do I want to work with you? So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to talk about how to structure a demo reel to get more potential calls. I can't guarantee anything, obviously, but there are ways to structure a demo reel or a portfolio that will attract people, to build that instant confidence. And because you have to think of your portfolio, your whole website, your whole presentation as a way of, how would you see it? What would you communicate to a potential client, and how would you read it? Like, so you have to be able to understand that when people land on your page and you see your portfolio for the first time, you need to get their confidence built immediately that they're going to be able to do what they're looking to get done. Matthew, I just want to say congratulations on your first live stream. You did a fantastic job. Well done. It looked great. You sounded great. Everything felt natural. I know that those nerves, that terrifying feeling comes out, but you did a fantastic job. Well done. And I hope you do more. But yeah, there may be a special live stream happening between a whole bunch of Final Cut heavy hitters on YouTube. So I'm going to make sure that you guys know about it when and if it happens. But yeah. Hey, Melanie, how's it going? Happy Thursday to you. So Avar's most asked question to me is how I'm getting new clients. I don't. I'm sticking with 2 to 3 coming back customers. Okay, I get this question so often. Where do I find new clients? This is a huge topic because, like you, Avars, I don't actively search out clients. I haven't even updated my portfolio since 2014. Geez, I need to do a new reel. Not because I need it, but I want to show people how the thought process of building a new reel. A majority of new clients that I get are word of mouth. If I was starting out new, then there is a process to do that. And I think I'm going to make a video about how to do that. But it does anchor heavily on a portfolio, your online presence, especially today. There was an article a couple of years back, like 2 years back, where it said that it was in the modeling industry, in the fashion industry, saying that new model considerations, people to get management, new models that wanted to get new management had to have at least 4,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram before they would even be considered to be taken under the management team. So if people that had higher follower counts at that point had a better chance of getting management through those agencies. I feel the same is true with today's video and photography work. You need to have a social presence as part of your branding, as part of your offering. Not necessarily that you're showing their work on your portfolio, but you have an online presence and you're able to communicate to larger groups. So I actually find the value of having a YouTube channel, not necessarily Instagram, because I don't do too much on Instagram, but having the YouTube channel and being consistent and committed to it, I've actually found clients and work because of it. And I've made more money offline through people reaching out than I have through any AdSense or brand deals or anything like that. So I use it as a tool to be able to communicate not only my skills, which Matthew, I think you were actually communicating that earlier, where we both started the YouTube journeys with like, I'm going to show you my skills. And then that just quickly turned into like, I'm just going to do the kind of videos that I want to do. And a lot of videos that like, I stopped assuming that people knew what I was talking about and just helping people in the creative space. And then with this channel, I'm going to do all the financial stuff, because there's a lot of people that they're really good creatives, but when it comes to money management, like they fail miserably. And so that whole aspect of, the starving artist, I just want that to go away, because there's plenty of money out there, especially since, the economy is fake, but debt is real. So I want to make sure that artists stay out of debt, but can make plenty of money. So, work less, make more. That's the goal. That should be the goal. That really should be the ultimate goal for any creative. Because working less, making more is not just about making more money. That's where it kind of starts. But money opens up the door to work less, but make more meaningful projects, more music, more photography, more poetry, more videos, more make more time for your family, make more experiences. That's the ultimate goal, where your money should be working for you. So when you understand how to use money properly for you, that money can give you those opportunities, give you that time to be able to make more money, more, all the good stuff. Money can't buy happiness, but it buys all the things that matter. So money doesn't matter, but it gives you access to all the things that matter. Someone, I can't remember who said it, but someone said that the humans have 5 senses and money is the 6th. And it's because money allows you to better experience those other 5. And that really kind of struck a chord with me, because it does open up those opportunities to do that. As much as I love doing videos, as much as I love holding the camera and taking photos, as much as I love taking videos and photos, the experiences, the time with family, let's go for that drive, let's do that thing. Those are the things that actually mean way more than, like what is the next thing that the client needs. When I'm working, I'm focused. So I want to make sure that I'm not working as much, because when I do, I'm all in. So I want to make sure that I'm working on 10 projects a year instead of 40 or 50, because, I need to make the next, $1,000 or whatever. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see. Why is that so big? Let me get that. So, Dylan's saying, if you do have those clients that overlap on the creative side, what's something that you respectfully say to out them at ease? Am I reading that right? If you do have those clients that overstep on the creative side, what's something that you respectfully say? Okay. So if a client is overstepping the creative aspect of it, always listen. I'm going to do a whole video how to talk to clients. No, it's not your fault, man. It's just all good. Put them at ease. I get it. Okay, I understand. So definitely talking with clients, it's your and my responsibility to guide them, to teach them by the way we talk. If a client is always full of ideas, they may not articulate exactly what they're thinking, properly, that actually translates into something that will work, but it's your responsibility to interpret what they're asking. If they're overstepping the creative aspect of it, you have to be able to understand what is it that they're really asking and try to resolve that through how you do things. So if a client is overstepping and they're arguing with you on the creative side, it doesn't mean that they're wrong or right. It comes down to they feel like something's not working for them, and it's really your job to figure that out. Because a lot of clients won't know how to articulate a feeling. They're just like, it's not working. It's this or that. Like try making it brown or purple, and they'll throw these crazy ideas because what they're seeing isn't necessarily what they were expecting. Now, this is where a statement of work comes in super handy, because that's when, if they start asking for things that are just out there, like something completely new, that's when you can turn to the statement of work, the original deliverables, the original scope of it, and be like, okay, let's look at the original creative and what we talked about, and let's see if we're hitting those marks with this. And if you are, then they need to either be able to adjust the quote and make it bigger, or scale back to what you were doing and show them that what you're doing is achieving that. If you're not achieving that, then you have to find that middle ground. So it does come down to being able to talk to your client in a way that lets them know that you hear them. And this is where, if you're already working with them, if you're already working with a client and they've okayed the price, and then it's your job to teach them how to be able to communicate to you in a way that you understand as well. And if they don't, then you still have to do that playback. That's like a lot of clients don't understand the process. It's your job to teach them. A lot of clients don't understand the software that you're going to use and why you need to do certain things. It's your job to teach them. And this is the third, the triad part of the whole creative process. You have the creative, you have the business, and then you have the teaching part of it, that you need to be able to teach your client on what you're doing and why this matters and why it's important, why it has to be done this way. Because clients don't know. You have to assume that they don't know the process. Kind of similar to how I'm treating my main channel on YouTube, is I've just started to assume that I'm making this video assuming that the person watching it won't know it. And the vast majority that do watch my channel don't. There is a huge handful that do understand exactly what I'm saying, but I'm making the videos for the ones that are just learning. And it has helped me communicate to clients better on, like, this is the process we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is why it's so important that we do it this way. There is another way we can do it. And when you have those conversations, their confidence in you skyrockets and becomes crazy good. And then that's one of the other things they come back to you, why they want to work with you again, because they feel that you understand them. And it's great. It's a great place to be. It's going back. Okay. So, I have to say I've been wearing the Fix It in Camera shirt all the time and loving it. It's one of the comfiest shirts I've ever worn. Thank you. I know, I love this material. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I got you this one. I sent this one. It's like so soft. Yeah, Matt, you did a great job. And the overlay stuff, yeah, we'll chat about all that offline. It's easy peasy. If you understand, yeah, I know that you understand all of this, and once I show you the stuff, how I do it, you're gonna be like, it's so simple, so good. Nice, that's right. If you guys haven't checked out Matthew's channel, he is one of the Final Cut Pro heavy hitters on YouTube. Make sure you go check it out. He has some great content. All right. Number one rule as a creative entrepreneur, Feed the business so the artist never starves. Much easier said than done, especially when starting out. Artists spend all their time learning how to art and not how to business. But once you get into the business side of it and you understand it, it actually becomes fun. The business side of creating actually becomes more like a game where it's like, can I achieve this metric? Can I achieve those goals? Can I achieve this for my income this year? And that's something that you can't do as an employee. So the side hustles that people talk about, the creator economy, it's unlimited. It's effort in, results out. Like how much effort you want to put into it, that's what your potential can be. There's no guarantee. You can work your ass off for years and never achieve it. But if you're able to learn and get better with every new aspect of it, you're going to do really well. You're going to do really well. So thank you for covering this. I'm at a stage where I would like to increase my prices. I was just curious, do you also make changes to what? Do you also make changes to what you were delivering as you start increasing your prices? Okay, so this is a very, very important topic, and it's a great question. It is, simple answer, no. When I start increasing my prices, I don't change the scope that I would deliver. So if a year ago I did a project for $5,000 and then someone came to me this year and asked for the exact same project, I would quote them $10,000. They may not go for that price. They may say, we only have 8. Okay, I can do it 8 because it's a step above what I did. But I wouldn't be like, okay, well now I'm going to deliver more. If I'm going to deliver more, then I'm going to charge more. What raising your rate means is for the exact same thing that you were doing before, you charge more. I'm going to take photography as an example. Say you do a photo shoot, you spend an hour to take those photos. You guarantee that you're going to deliver 100 finished photos. You're going to deliver 100 finished photos. Last year you charged $1,000. This year you're charging $2,000 for the exact same deliverable. If a client says, I want 200 photos, great. Now it's $2,800. So whatever you're delivering before, that's what you increase your price for. So if you had a donut shop and someone came to your donut shop and they want a dozen donuts, you charge them $10. And next year they ask for a baker's dozen. You don't charge them $10. You charge them $15. If you want to give them that extra donut, then the 13, the baker's dozen, then you would charge them a little bit extra for that. But again, know your clients. Again, know your clients. Understand that the price that you put out there may not be the price that you get. So be flexible with that pricing. Be flexible with your value-based pricing. If a client comes and you quote them $15,000 and they say, we only have $8,500. Just because it's half of what you're asking for doesn't mean that it's a bad price. Is it better than you were able to charge for a previous year or 2 years ago? That's the incremental things that you need to do. So don't let a good client potentially get away because you're like, no, I'm sticking to my guns and getting this price. Listen to the client, understand them. If they're a big client, like if Nike came and they're like, no, we only have $1,000, you'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have more than that, right? Like understand where the client's coming from. So you have to know your audience. And this is becoming evident for me. Like I'm going to use an example with my main YouTube channel. I have a media kit where I have my pricing, but the pricing is fluid. It depends on which brand is coming to me and what I'm assuming they'll be willing to do a project for. And I only give them a 90-day window saying that these prices are only here for 90 days and you have to choose that. because next year those prices are going to go up, because just like everything else, the trend is your friend. If the channel is getting better and my skills are getting better and the audience is getting bigger, then the prices are going to go up. So it's an interesting aspect. I don't know if you guys saw Hank Green's video. I think it's Hank Green, where he talked about TikTok and how TikTok, the more successful it gets and the more people on the platform, the less creators make because of the creator fund, which is backwards. Whereas YouTube, the more successful YouTube becomes, the more creators can potentially make. If you haven't seen that video, Hank Green's video on why TikTok sucks. It was an interesting conversation. Yes, listening to your ego included in the key to good communication with listening without your ego. Listening without your ego included is the key to good communication with clients. Yes, 100%. You have to listen to the client and understand that they're hiring you to do what you're really good at. What their business is, they're really good at. So it's finding that bridge on how to communicate what they're trying to communicate, which is usually to get more business from their clients. I hear about live streams. I had mine on Monday. We'll watch yours on replay. Yeah, it was a great stream. Fantastic camera presence. You seemed so natural and very, very confident. It was good. We have matching t-shirts. Yeah. It's a nice little slogan. I need to get a fix it in financials or something like that for this channel. Yeah, there's a lot of firsts this week. Last week, Dylan had his live stream, his first live stream, or I think it was his first live stream. Yeah, so well done, guys. Dylan, I will talk to you soon. Have a great Thursday. So, have you guys had those opportunities where you were terrified to raise your price, but you did it anyways, and then a client actually said, yeah, that's cool, let's do that? Because that was the shocking thing. Not necessarily shocking. That was a little shocking, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to raise my price. And I'm like, I'm nervous. And I'm ready to hit send on that email. And I'm like, no, I hesitate. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm going to do it. No, and it's like, I don't want to lose a client. This project is really good. And I want to work on it. But it's like, am I going too high? Like, maybe I'm charging too much. And then just like, finally, I'm like, ooh, I hit send. It goes off. And then, 30 minutes, nothing. I'm like, oh man, I really blew it. And then like an hour later, they're like, this is a great place. Approved. Let's do it. And I'm just like, oh man, I should have charged more. Because you do want to get to that point. You want to find what that limit is for you and your services. You want to find what that limit is when coming to your pricing structure. If you have an instant yes on a project on your rate, you know that next time you need to charge more. Like that's a huge cue to your pricing structure. If you have an instant yes on a quote to a client, your next quote to a new client should be higher. It's as simple as that. You want to get to that point where you're just bumping up the limit of what you're able to ask and have a client be like, that's a little bit too high for me. And if they ask that, then you go, well, what is a budget that would make more sense for you? And if they're reasonable, they'll come back to you with something that is a little bit below, like 10, 15% below what you're asking, but it's still within the margin of you making more money. And if you're at that point, then you know, okay, that was a little bit too high. Now I can step it back, and there's your new normal, your new floor for what your price should be. I did a whole video talking about how to set your day rate. Not the day rate that you share publicly, but the amount of money that you need to be making as a bare minimum to make your year worthwhile. And actually talk about when you set that, when you figure out what that bare minimum number is, that is your bare basement floor that you will not go below. But that is not the price that you send to your clients. That is the price that you know you need to be charging on average. So if a project lasts 15 days, that you need to be making more than that for it to be the bare minimum for you to work on that project. And if you can go much higher than that, that's where the business side of it. So again, going way back to the beginning of this live stream, where the amount of money that I was charging as an employee working as a motion graphic designer versus what the business was charging for my day was leaps and bounds different. So that's where you need to get to, especially if you're contract or freelance or doing a side hustle thing with photography. There are plenty of opportunities. There are plenty of people that are going to be able to pay the rate that you want. And ultimately, you want to get into those circles, because if you land one of those clients, though, and do a good job with them, they will recommend you to their circle, their network of friends. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a network that has a higher bracket of money to spend on, and then they recommend to that network? Or do you want to go and like guarantee you get that job because you charge lower, and then they recommend them to their bracket of people? Because what are they going to say? This guy did a fantastic job and he did it for next to nothing. He did it for $500. And that's where you're going to get stuck. So aim here, aim to the higher tier of clients. And then once you get into that network of friends and they start charging, and then you get busy doing that stuff here, then you go up here. You take another step and you start aiming for that next step. And if you can, you can skip a step and go right into higher tiers, because there are plenty of tiers. There's the bottom feeders, then there's the people that have just barely enough money, then they have the good budgets, and then you have the super supreme budgets, and everybody in between. And once you get into one of those circles, you kind of start living and breathing and functioning in that circle. So you have to be patient. The process does work. You work less, charge more. Work less, make more. Yeah. Work less, make more. Oh, we already saw that. So yeah, definitely experienced that nervousness when asking for higher price, then client agreed without questioning. You need to charge more. You need to charge more. That was your perfect cue. So understand that you're probably charging way under what your perceived value is to clients. And this is where a great portfolio comes in handy, because the moment people come to they land on your portfolio, either photography, filmmaking, motion, design, art, whatever, and they contact you, you're already in the door. You already beat out majority of people that are looking for that kind of work. So a good portfolio is key to getting these kind of works. And that's, if you want to know where to find good clients, show me your reel and your portfolio, and I'll tell you where you can find clients. Because if there's strength in your portfolio, your clients are going to get better. And if you haven't, I said that to someone, and I had this conversation. I said that to someone, that show me your portfolio, and I'll show you, and I'll show you the clients that you're able to get. And their response was like, well, I haven't worked with enough people to have a portfolio. I was like, why is that the thing that's stopping you? Go out and make your portfolio. Don't work for free for someone where you're building their conceptual styles. Do your own stuff that shows the style of work that you want to work on. Because if you can build your portfolio based on personal work of the style that you're really good at, you'll attract clients that want that kind of work, and you'll enjoy doing the process more. Because there is this fallacy of like, work for free to build up your portfolio. Yes, Work for free for yourself to build up portfolio. Because I'd rather spend time working on concepts and ideas that I want to execute on, that are part of my personal style, that I want to work on, that I want to attract, than working on someone else's portfolio or type of work style. Because then if I put that on my reel, on my portfolio, I'll attract more of that. And it's not necessarily the thing that I want to be attracting in the long run. So again, when you charge more and you raise your prices and you work on less projects throughout the year, you're going to be able to then spend time working on personal projects that will then in turn attract better clients moving forward. And that's really what you're trying to do. You want to work on more things that you enjoy working on. But with that said, I do want to say thanks for hanging out with this on this Thursday. You guys have been awesome. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.